The party Jade Morrison stood at the edge of the grand staircase, her fingers wrapped too tightly around a crystal champagne flute. She did not want to be here. The penthouse apartment overlooking Central Park was filled with Manhattan's elite, all dressed in designer gowns and tailored suits. Chandeliers sparkled overhead like frozen stars. Classical music floated through the air, barely audible over the buzz of sophisticated conversation. Her sister Meredith glowed in the center of the room, wearing an ivory dress that probably cost more than Jade's annual salary. Beside her stood Kenneth Park, heir to a real estate empire, smiling his practiced smile for the cameras. Guests surrounded them, offering congratulations and expensive gifts. Jade felt like an imposter in her borrowed dress. It was one of Meredith's older pieces, altered to fit Jade's smaller frame. The shoes were wrong too, half a size too large, sliding slightly with each step. The mother's voice, Jade. Stop hiding up there. Mother's voice cut through her thoughts. Catherine Morrison stood near a marble column, her face tight with disapproval. Come down and be social. Everyone is looking at you. Jade took a deep breath. The shoes felt unstable on her feet. She started down the staircase, counting each step silently. 10, 9, 8. The marble gleamed under the chandelier light, polished to a mirror shine. On the 7th step, her foot turned. The oversized shoe slipped. Time seemed to slow down. Jade felt her body tipping forward, her hand grasping for the railing but finding only air. The champagne flute flew from her hand, shattering somewhere below. She fell hard, her knees hitting marble, her dress riding up, her carefully pinned hair coming loose. The room went silent. Every head turned, every eye fixed on her crumpled form at the base of the staircase. Jade lifted her head, humiliation burning through her like fire. Someone covered their mouth. Someone else raised a phone. Quiet laughter rippled through the crowd. The hand no one moved to help her. Not Meredith, frozen in place with embarrassment written across her face. Not Kenneth, who looked away. Not even her mother, who simply stared with disappointment. Then Jade heard footsteps, heavy, confident, approaching. She looked up through her fallen hair and saw a man walking toward her. He was tall, dressed in a black suit that fit him perfectly. Dark hair swept back from a face that looked carved from stone. Cold gray eyes that revealed nothing. Harrison Blake. She knew who he was. Everyone did. The tech billionaire who had built an empire in artificial intelligence. The man who never smiled. The man who never appeared in public without purpose. He stopped in front of her and extended his hand. No pity in his eyes. No mockery. Just waiting. Jade stared at his palm for a moment, then placed her trembling hand in his. His fingers closed around her wrists, strong and warm. He pulled her to her feet in one smooth motion, as if she weighed nothing at all. The whisper she stood before him, her knees still shaking. He had not let go of her hand. Harrison leaned close to her ear, his breath warm against her skin. His voice was low, meant only for her. You owe them nothing. Jade froze. He continued, his thumb brushing across her pulse point. But you owe me now. Her heart stopped. Harrison straightened, still holding her hand. He turned to face the room, his expression unchanged. Every guest stared at them. Continue, he said, his voice cutting through the silence. Celebrate. The music started again. Conversations resumed, but eyes kept returning to them. Harrison looked down at Jade. Come with me. It was not a question. He led her away from the staircase, his hand on her waist, firm and possessive. They passed Meredith, whose face had gone pale. They moved into a side gallery, away from the crowd. The offer Harrison released her and stepped back. They were alone now, surrounded by expensive art and silence. Why did you do that? Jade asked, her voice barely steady. You do not understand what you just did, Harrison replied, his face unreadable. I fell. No. You showed them who you are. Jade shook her head. I showed them I am clumsy. You showed them you are real. His voice dropped lower. That room is full of masks. You are the only one who fell because you are the only one who is alive. Jade felt her throat tighten. Harrison watched her as if seeing something others missed. I need your help, he said suddenly. Jade blinked. What? I need a girlfriend. 3 months. In return, I will pay all of your family's debts. Her heart skipped. I do not understand. Pretend to be my girlfriend. 3 months of public appearances? Nothing more. When it ends, I will ensure your family's financial problems disappear. Jade stared at him. This could not be real. Harrison pulled a business card from his jacket and held it out to her. Think about it. Call me when you decide. He turned and walked away, disappearing back into the party. Jade stood alone, holding his card. The black cardstock felt expensive, his name printed in silver, Harrison Blake. She returned to the party in a daze. Meredith intercepted her near the door, grabbing her arm hard enough to hurt. What did he say to you? Meredith demanded. He just helped me up, liar. Harrison Blake does not help anyone without wanting something. What does he want? I do not know. Jade pulled free. Maybe he was just being kind. Kind. Meredith laughed bitterly. He is never kind. Stay away from him, Jade. You have no idea what you are getting into. The hospital, the next morning, Jade's phone rang while she was getting ready for work at the art gallery. An unfamiliar number. Yes. This is Mount Sinai Hospital. Is this Jade Morrison? Her heart dropped. Yes. What happened? Your mother was admitted early this morning. She needs surgery. Urgently. We recommend scheduling it within the week. Jade's legs felt weak. How much will it cost? The nurse named a figure that made Jade's vision blur. Impossible. They had no insurance that would cover this. No savings. Nothing. I need to think about this. I will call back. She sat down heavily after hanging up. Her hand shook as she pulled out Harrison's card. 3 months. That was all he was asking. 3 months of pretending, and her mother would be saved. She dialed before she could change her mind. Yes. Harrison's voice was as cold as she remembered. This is Jade Morrison. We met last night. You gave me your card, I remember. I need to talk to you. About your offer? Okay, pause. Come to my penthouse. Riverside Drive, Tower 15, top floor. Now. He ended the call. Jade stared at her phone, her heart racing. She caught a cab, gave the driver the address, and watched the city blur past her window. The contract, the building, was glass and steel, impossibly tall. Security let her through without question. The elevator opened directly into the penthouse. Jade stepped out and stopped. The space was enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the Hudson River and the city beyond. Everything was white and black and chrome. No warmth, no personality. Like living in a beautiful photograph, Harrison stood by the windows in a white shirt with rolled sleeves. He turned as she entered. You made your decision. Jade nodded. My mother needs surgery. I need the money. Harrison picked up a folder from his desk and handed it to her. Read it carefully. Jade opened the contract with shaking hands. The terms were clear. 3 months. Public appearances. No intimate relationship. All expenses paid. At the bottom, a sum that would cover her mother's surgery 3 times over. Why are you doing this? She asked. Harrison studied her for a long moment. Because I need someone I can trust. And you were the only real person in that room last night, Judd. Looked at the contract, then at him. What do I have to do? Pretend. For 3 months. Attend events with me. Hold my hand. Smile. Be mine. His voice softened on the last word, just slightly. Jade held his gaze. Where do I sign? Harrison handed her a pen. She signed quickly, before doubt could stop her. He took the contract, looked at her signature, and nodded. The money will reach the hospital within the hour. Your mother's surgery will happen tomorrow. Relief flooded through Jade so strongly, her knees buckled. Harrison steadied her, his hands on her shoulders. Welcome to my life, Jade Morrison. The new world. Jade woke up in a room larger than her entire apartment. Sunlight streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting everything in gold. The bed was so soft, She had barely slept, too aware of the luxury surrounding her. She sat up and looked around at the cream-colored walls, the designer furniture. The walk-in closet that Harrison had insisted she fill. Yesterday he had sent his assistant, a sharp woman named Nicole Foster, to take her shopping. Jade had protested, but Nicole had simply smiled and said, "Mr. Blake's girlfriend does not wear borrowed dresses." Now her closet held more clothes than she had owned in her entire life, but none of it felt like hers. A knock on the door made her jump. "Ms. Morrison." "Breakfast is ready," called a voice. Rosa, the housekeeper, kind woman with gray-streaked hair who had welcomed Jade without judgment. Jade dressed quickly in jeans and a simple sweater, then walked to the dining room. Harrison sat at the head of the table, reading something on his tablet. He wore a charcoal suit, his hair still damp from the shower. He looked up when she entered.
"Good morning."
"How did you sleep?" "Fine," Jade lied, sliding into a chair. Rosa appeared with coffee and pastries. Harrison set down his tablet. "We have a charity gala tonight. The Metropolitan Museum. Nicole will come by at 4 to help you prepare." "Already?" Jade's stomach tightened. "The sooner we establish our relationship publicly, the better." His tone was businesslike, as if discussing a merger. "People need to see us together. Often." Jade picked at a croissant. "What should I say if people ask about us?" "The truth. We met at your sister's engagement party. I saw you and knew I wanted to know you better." "That is not the truth." Harrison's eyes met hers. "In my world, the story is the truth." First appearance that evening, Jade stood in front of a mirror, barely recognizing herself. Nicole had transformed her into someone else. The emerald gown hugged her body perfectly, her hair swept up in an elegant twist, her makeup subtle but striking. "You look beautiful," Nicole said with genuine warmth. "Harrison will not be able to take his eyes off you." But when Jade walked into the living room, Harrison barely glanced up from his phone. "Ready?" The car ride to the museum was silent. Harrison typed on his phone, his face unreadable. Jade watched the city lights blur past, her anxiety building with each block. "Nervous?" he asked without looking up. "It's good. Use it. Let people see you are human." He finally looked at her. "Just stay close to me. I will handle everything else." The museum steps were crowded with photographers and journalists. Flashbulbs exploded as their car pulled up. Harrison stepped out first, then offered his hand. Jade took it and emerged into chaos. "Mr. Blake, who is your date?" "Harrison? Is this your new girlfriend? What is her name?" Harrison ignored them all, his arms sliding around Jade's waist. His touch was firm, possessive. He guided her up the steps and into the museum. Where the noise faded into classical music and polite conversation, the hall was filled with Manhattan's wealthiest. Women in couture gowns. Men in custom tuxedos. Everyone turned to stare as Harrison led Jade inside. The rival they had barely taken 2 steps when a man approached. He was tall, silver-haired, with a smile that did not reach his eyes. "Blake, what a surprise to see you here." Harrison's arm tightened around Jade's waist. "Trevor, still trying to buy your way into respectability?" "Trevor Westfield." Jade recognized the name. Harrison's biggest competitor in the tech world. They had been fighting over contracts and patents for years. Trevor's smile widened as his gaze shifted to Jade. "And who is this lovely creature?" "I did not know you were seeing anyone." "Trevor Westfield. Meet Jade Morrison. My girlfriend." The word sounded strange coming from Harrison's mouth. "Too intimate. Too real charming," Trevor said, his eyes lingering on Jade too long. "Tell me, Miss Morrison, how did you manage to capture the heart of the man who supposedly has no heart?" "I fell," Jade said quietly, "and he caught me." Something flickered in Harrison's eyes. Trevor laughed, the sound cold. "How romantic. Well, enjoy your evening. I am sure we will be seeing much more of you, Miss Morrison." He walked away. Harrison's jaw was tight. "Who was that really?" Jade whispered. "Someone who would hurt you to hurt me? Stay away from him." The rest of the evening was a blur. Harrison introduced her to dozens of people whose names she immediately forgot. His hand never left her body, always touching her waist, her back, her arm. Each touch sent electricity through her. They danced once, swaying to a slow melody. Harrison held her close, closer than necessary. Jade could feel his heartbeat against her chest. "You are doing well," he murmured. "I feel like a fraud. Everyone here is a fraud. You are just honest about it." Jade looked up at him. In the dim light, his face seemed softer, almost vulnerable. Their faces were inches apart. She could feel his breath on her lips. The song ended. Harrison released her abruptly and stepped back. "We should go." The night conversation back at the penthouse, Jade kicked off her heels with relief. Her feet ached. Her face hurt from smiling. Harrison loosened his tie and poured himself a drink. "Want one?" he asked. "Yes." He poured her whiskey, handed her the glass. They stood by the windows, looking out at the glittering city. "Thank you," Jade said. "For tonight, for all of this. Do not thank me. This is a transaction." His words stung, but Jade pushed past it. "Why do you need me? Really? You could have any woman in New York." Harrison was quiet for a long time. "Because any woman in New York wants something from me. Money, status, fame. You just want to save your mother. So I am convenient, you are honest." He turned to face her. "Do you know how rare that is in my world?" Jade met his gaze. In the darkness, with his guard slightly lowered, she saw something underneath the coldness. Pain, deep and old. "What happened to you?" she asked softly. Harrison's expression shuddered immediately. "That is not part of our agreement." "I know, but I want to understand you." "No, you do not." He set down his glass. "Good night, Jade." He walked away, leaving her alone with the city lights and 100 questions. Discovery 2 weeks passed in a strange routine. Public appearances where Harrison was attentive and possessive. Private moments where he was distant and cold. Jade felt like she was living 2 different lives with 2 different men. Her mother's surgery had been successful. Catherine was recovering well, though she asked pointed questions about Harrison that Jade could not answer. Meredith called constantly, alternating between jealousy and warnings. One afternoon, while Harrison was at a meeting, Jade explored the penthouse. She had avoided his private office, but curiosity pulled her there. The door was unlocked. Inside was different from the rest of the apartment. Warmer, more personal. Bookshelves lined one wall. A desk held framed photographs. Jade stepped closer and stopped breathing. The first photo showed Harrison, younger and smiling, with a beautiful woman with dark hair. She held a little girl, maybe 4 years old, who had Harrison's eyes. They looked happy, like a real family. "That was my wife, Diana." Jade spun around. Harrison stood in the doorway, his face blank. "And my daughter, Amy. I am sorry. I should not have come in here. No, you should not have." But his voice held no anger, only exhaustion. He walked to the desk and picked up the photo. "They died 8 years ago. Car accident. I was driving." Jade's heart broke for him. "Harrison." "They did not." He set the photo down carefully. "I told myself I would never let anyone that close again. Because everyone I love dies? That is not true. It is my truth." He finally looked at her. "That is why I need you, Jade. You are temporary. In 3 months, you will leave, and I will not have to bury another person I care about." The words should have hurt, but Jade understood now. He was not cold. He was terrified. She took a step toward him. "You do not have to be alone." "Yes, I do. It is safer that way." "Safer for who?" Harrison did not answer. The silence stretched between them, heavy with everything unsaid. The sisters' betrayal that evening. Jade met Meredith for coffee at her sister's insistence. Meredith arrived with a folder, her face serious. "I need to show you something." Inside were printed documents, transcripts. Jade started reading, and her blood turned cold. The conversation was between Harrison and someone labeled only as associate. Harrison's words jumped off the page. "Jade Morrison is a safe choice. No one will question her. She is too ordinary to attract real attention. She needs money desperately. She will do whatever I say. You are just a tool to him, Meredith said, not unkindly. A convenient cover for whatever he is really doing. Look at how he describes you. Safe, ordinary, desperate. She read the transcript again, each word cutting deeper. Where did you get this? I have connections. Jade, I am trying to protect you. I can see you are falling for him, but he is using you. He said it himself. Jade stood up, taking the folder. I need to go. Jade, wait. But she was already walking away, the folder clutched to her chest. She caught a cab back to the penthouse, her mind spinning. Safe, ordinary, desperate. Was that really how he saw her? The confrontation Harrison was home when she arrived, working in his office. Jade threw the folder at him. It hit his desk and papers scattered. What is this? He asked, standing. You tell me? Is that what you really think of me? Safe, ordinary, desperate. Harrison picked up a page, scanned it. His jaw tightened. Where did you get this? It does not matter. Is it real? He did not answer immediately, which was answer enough. I trusted you, Jade said, her voice breaking. I thought maybe we were becoming friends. But I am just a convenient nobody to you, Jade. Listen to me. No, I am done listening. She went to her room and started throwing clothes into her suitcase. Harrison followed her. That conversation was before I met you. Does not make it better. Jade whirled to face him. You looked at me and saw someone so pathetic and desperate that I would do anything you wanted. And you were right. I did. That is not who you are. Then who am I to you, Harrison? Really? He stared at her, his expression tortured. Someone I cannot afford to care about. Well, good news. You do not have to anymore. Jade zipped her suitcase. The deal is over. Find someone else to be your safe, ordinary girlfriend. She pushed past him toward the door. Harrison grabbed her arm. Let me go. I cannot. Why not? I am just a transaction, remember? Because you are not. His voice rose, cracking. Because somewhere between that fall and tonight, you stopped being part of the plan and became part of me. And that terrifies me. She turned to look at him. His eyes were desperate, vulnerable in a way she had never seen. Spent 8 years making sure I never felt anything again, Harrison said, his voice raw. And then you fell down those stairs and looked at me like I was human, and everything I built crumbled. So yes, I told my associate you were safe. Because I thought you were. I thought I could keep you at a distance. I was wrong, Harrison. You asked who you are to me. You are the first person in 8 years who made me want to live instead of just survive, and I do not know what to do with that. Tears ran down Jade's face. Then stop pushing me away. I am trying to protect you. From what? From me. From my enemies. From the fact that everyone close to me ends up hurt. He released her arm. You should go. You will be safer. Jade looked at her suitcase, then at Harrison, standing there broken and afraid. She made her choice. She dropped the suitcase and walked back to him. Harrison watched her, not moving. Jade reached up and touched his face. I am not going anywhere. Jade, you do not understand what you are risking. I understand that you are afraid. I understand that you lost people you loved. But I am not Diana. I am not Amy. I am here now, and I am choosing to stay. Harrison closed his eyes, leaning into her touch. I will hurt you. Maybe, but you will hurt yourself more by staying alone. He opened his eyes, and Jade saw tears there. Harrison Blake, the man who never showed emotion, was crying. I do not know how to do this, he whispered. Neither do I. We will figure it out together. Harrison pulled her into his arms, holding her like she might disappear. Jade held him back just as tightly. They stood there in the doorway. Two broken people choosing to be broken together. The morning after Jade woke to sunlight and the smell of coffee. She was in Harrison's bed, wearing one of his shirts. He sat in a chair by the window, already dressed, watching her with an expression she could not read. Good morning, she said, suddenly shy. Good morning. He stood and brought her coffee. We need to talk. Jade's stomach dropped. About last night? About what comes next. Harrison sat on the edge of the bed. Last night, I told you things I have never told anyone. I let you see who I really am. That changes everything. Does it change the contract? The contract ended the moment you chose to stay. He took her hand. But Jade, what I said about my enemies was not exaggeration. Trevor Westfield has been trying to destroy me for years. If he finds out you mean something to me, he will come after you. Then what do? Harrison's grip tightened. We be careful. We trust no one. And when this gets dangerous, because it will, you have to promise me you will listen when I tell you to run. I am not running, Jade. No. She set down her coffee and looked him in the eye. You do not get to push me away for my own good. We do this together, or not at all. Harrison studied her face, then nodded slowly. Together. The threat emerges 3 days later. Jade received a text from an unknown number. Just a photo. It showed her leaving her mother's hospital room. Taken yesterday. The message below read, "Beautiful family you have. Would be a shame if something happened." Jade's hands shook as she showed Harrison. His face went white, then red with fury. When did you get this? Just now? Her persona was already dialing. Nicole, I need security on Catherine Morrison. Mount Sinai Hospital, room 412. Immediately. And trace this number. He hung up and pulled Jade close. This is Trevor. He is trying to scare us. It is working. I'll not let him touch you or your family. I promise. But Jade could see the fear in his eyes. That afternoon, Harrison's head of security, a former Marine named Grant Wilson, briefed him in Harrison's office. He was a large man with a serious face and calm demeanor. Text came from a burner phone, untraceable. But we pulled security footage from the hospital. This man was following Miss Morrison. Grant showed them a photo. A man in a baseball cap, face partially hidden. We have identified him. His name is Kyle Brennan. He works for a private investigation firm that Trevor Westfield uses. Harrison's fist slammed on the desk. I want him arrested. For what? Taking a photo in a public place? He did not break any laws. Grant looked apologetic. But we have security on your mother now, Miss Morrison. And on both of you. They will stay invisible, but they are there. After Grant left, Harrison paced the office like a caged animal. This is my fault. I should never have involved you. You did not threaten my mother. Trevor did, because of me. He stopped pacing and looked at her. Jade, there is something you need to know. The reason Trevor hates me so much? 8 years ago, after Diana and Amy died, I was destroyed. I stopped caring about my company. Trevor saw an opportunity and tried to force a hostile takeover. I came back from grief long enough to stop him. I bankrupted 3 of his shell companies in the process. He has wanted revenge ever since. So this is about business? For him, everything is about business. But he will use anything as leverage, including you. Jade walked to him and took his hands. Then we beat him. Together. Harrison pulled her close, burying his face in her hair. I cannot lose you. You will not. It's Meredith's truth that evening, Meredith called, asking to meet urgently. Jade agreed, bringing Grant along as her shadow. They met at a quiet restaurant. Meredith looked nervous, guilty. I need to apologize, Meredith said immediately. That transcript I showed you. Trevor Westfield gave it to me. Jade's blood went cold. What? He approached me at a fashion show. Said he was worried about you getting involved with Harrison. Gave me those papers and asked me to show you. Said he was trying to protect you. Meredith's voice shook. I believed him. I thought I was helping. But then I saw the news today about the threats. I realized he was using me to drive you away from Harrison. Why are you telling me this now? Because you are my sister. And I almost helped the dangerous man hurt you because I was jealous. Tears filled Meredith's eyes. I am so sorry, Jade. I have spent our whole lives resenting you because Mom always said you were the good one, the honest one, the real one. I wanted to prove you were not special. But I was wrong. You are special. You always have been. Jade reached across the table and took her sister's hand. I forgive you. But you need to tell Harrison everything Trevor said to you. Meredith nodded. I will. I will do whatever I can to help fix this. The trap 2 days later. Trevor called Harrison directly. Jade sat beside him as he put the phone on speaker. Blake, we need to talk. About what? Threatening innocent women? Trevor laughed. Threatening. I am trying to save her. You are a curse, Harrison. Everyone close to you dies or gets destroyed. Your wife, your daughter. How many employees have you ruined? How many competitors have you crushed? You think this girl will be different? What do you want, Trevor? A meeting. You and me, tonight. Pier 47. Come alone, or I send my evidence to the press. What evidence? The real reason your wife and daughter died? The brake lines that were cut? The investigation you paid to cover up? I have documents, Blake, and if you do not come alone, the world finds out you're a murderer. The call ended. Harrison sat frozen, his face gray. Harrison. Jade touched his arm. What is he talking about? After the accident, I had the car examined. Privately, the brakes had been tampered with. His voice was hollow. Someone wanted me dead, but they got Diana and Amy instead. I never found out who. The guilt destroyed me. I buried the report because I could not handle anyone knowing I was the target. Oh my God, Trevor somehow found it, and now he is using it to control me. Harrison stood. I have to go meet him. No, it is a trap. No, but if I do not, he ruins me, and you get caught in the fallout. Then we call the police and tell them what? That a rival businessman is blackmailing me with evidence that I might have been the target of attempted murder 8 years ago. They will investigate me first. Harrison cupped her face. I have to go. Grant will stay with you. Harrison, please. I love you. The words came out raw, unpracticed. I should have said it sooner. But I love you, Jade Morrison. You brought me back to life. Whatever happens tonight, remember that. He kissed her deeply, desperately, then walked out. Jade stood there, her heart breaking, then made a decision. She turned to Grant. Take me to Pier 47. Miss Morrison, Mr. Blake said. I do not care what he said. The man I love is walking into danger. I am not sitting here waiting to find out if he survives. Grant studied her, then nodded. All right, but we do this smart. The confrontation Pier 47 was abandoned, surrounded by old warehouses. Harrison's car was already there. Grant parked at a distance and handed Jade an earpiece. Stay in the car. I am going closer. If anything goes wrong, you drive away and call 911. Understood? Jade nodded but had no intention of obeying. As soon as Grant disappeared into the shadows, she followed. The pier was lit by a single streetlight. Harrison stood at the edge, looking out at the water. Trevor emerged from a warehouse, accompanied by 2 large men. Blake, you came. I am here. Where are the documents? First, we talk about terms. You sign over your AI patents to me. You dissolve your company. And you disappear from New York forever. Harrison laughed bitterly. You want me to give you everything? You took everything from me 8 years ago? Now we are even, and if I refuse, Trevor smiled. Then I destroy you anyway. And I start with your pretty girlfriend, Kyle. One of the men stepped forward, holding a phone. On the screen was a live feed. Jade's breath stopped. It showed her mother's hospital room. A man stood by Catherine's bed, his back to the camera. One word from me, Trevor said, and your girlfriend loses her mother. Then I release the documents. Then I destroy what is left of Harrison Blake. Harrison's whole body was rigid with rage. You would kill an innocent woman? I am a businessman. I do what is necessary. So do I. Harrison pulled out his phone and pressed a button. Suddenly, the pier was flooded with light. Police cars appeared from every direction, sirens wailing. Officers poured out, guns drawn, FBI. Everyone on the ground. Trevor's face went white. What did you do? A woman in a suit approached. Trevor Westfield, You are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, extortion, and blackmail. Kyle Brennan has been in custody for 2 hours. He gave us everything." Trevor lunged at Harrison, but officers grabbed him. As they dragged him away, he screamed, "This is not over, Blake. You hear me? Not over." Harrison stood watching, his face blank. Then his eyes scanned the shadows and found Jade. He moved toward her, relief and anger warring on his face. "I told you to stay away. I do not listen very well." He pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. "I thought I might never see you again. You are not getting rid of me that easily." 3 months later, Jade stood in her old art gallery, but it looked completely different now. Harrison had bought the building and renovated it. Tonight was the grand opening of the Morrison Gallery, featuring emerging artists from underprivileged communities. The walls were filled with vibrant paintings and photographs. Jade wore a simple black dress, her hair loose. She moved through the crowd, greeting guests, explaining pieces. This was her dream, made real. Harrison watched from across the room with Grant beside him. "She is good at this." "She is good at everything," Grant replied. "You picked well, boss." Trevor Westfield was awaiting trial. The investigation had uncovered years of illegal activities, including the truth about Diana and Amy's deaths. Trevor had been responsible, targeting Harrison for a business deal gone wrong. The closure had not brought Harrison's family back, but it had lifted a weight he had carried for 8 years. Jade finished with a collector and walked over to Harrison. He pulled her close, kissing her forehead. "This is amazing. You did this. We did this," she corrected. "You made it possible. You made it real." He looked around at the crowded gallery. "You make everything real." Catherine Morrison approached, recovered and healthy, with Meredith beside her. The sisters had been rebuilding their relationship, slowly finding their way to real sisterhood. "Darling, this is wonderful," Catherine said, hugging her daughter. "Thanks, Mom." Meredith smiled genuinely. "You always were the talented one. I am proud of you, little sister." As the evening wound down and guests began leaving, Harrison pulled Jade aside to a quiet corner. "I have something for you." He took out a small box. Jade's breath caught. Harrison opened it, revealing not a ring but a key. "It is the key to this gallery. Fully paid off. Yours free and clear." But also, he paused, looking nervous in a way that made him seem younger. "It is a key to my home, if you want it. No contract. No deal. Just you and me, figuring this out together?" Jade took the key, tears in her eyes. "Just so we are clear, I am not pretending anymore."
"Neither am I."
Harrison cupped her face. "I love you, Jade Morrison. You saved me without even trying. You fell into my arms and I never want to let you go. Then do not." They kissed in the gallery, surrounded by art and possibility and the life they were building together. Outside, the city glittered with lights and stories, and people falling and catching each other every day. Jade had fallen that night 3 months ago, not just down the stairs, but into a life she never imagined. And Harrison had caught her. But the truth was, she had caught him too. 2 broken people who found each other in a moment of humiliation and grace. Sometimes, the worst moments lead to the best beginnings. Sometimes a fall is not the end of something, but the start of everything. Sometimes the person who catches you becomes the person you cannot imagine living without. And sometimes, just sometimes, a simple fall at a party changes everything.